Life is a matter of choices. On the podcast today, I am speaking with Karen Connell. She is the author of a new book called Beyond Surviving: Take Back Your Life Using the Power of Choice. I'm so glad that we connected and I want to help her out. Her goal is to share her story for those who have dealt with abusive relationships, who are feeling trapped, and I'm definitely going to help her out. Just want to give you a heads up that her vocal cords were damaged a long time ago during the domestic violence that she had experienced. So I'm so glad that she is brave and is here to share her story. Hi, y'all. It's Bridget Cutshaw with Real Things Living. Today, my guest is Karen Connell. She is the author of Beyond Surviving: Take Back Your Life Using the Power of Choice. And she decided to write this book and share information of her background of dealing with domestic abuse. And can you say hi, Karen?
Hi, Bridget.
Hi. And those that are listening,
That sounds better than I, Karen.
yes, Karen has an issue with her throat because it was damaged, my understanding, during one of those violent attacks that she experienced. And she is very inspirational. She spoke up. She knew she had a choice, right? And what how long did you have to deal with this? This how long were you married to this person?
We were together for like 20 years.
Oh wow, so you dealt with it for 20 years. Wow.
Well, the abuse didn't start right away,
Okay.
but it started out being emotional, him trying to scare me.
Okay. So in my understanding, when I read your background, you also inspired a lot of other women, and you also inspired the Los Angeles Police Department to get involved to help train officers on how to respond to this kind of stuff.
Yes, I was on a panel sponsored by the California Attorney General
Okay.
to write a curriculum to train the police
Oh, wow.
on how to respond. And I trained LAPD.
Wow. It's amazing that you survived. And I did not realize before we got on the call that you had laryngitis, by the way. And so did you have children with in your first marriage? Because I haven't read the book yet.
Oh, yes. We had one son, and there's an entire chapter devoted to him and how the violence affected him.
Okay, right. Okay. That is good that you helping your children. And my takeaway is, and I saw on your website, you had a quote by John Maxwell: life is a matter of choices. And you chose to get out of this situation for yourself and for your son, right?
Yes.
And what would you recommend? I know a lot of people are afraid of this, and choice is also related to change, right? That's kind of how I see it.
It is, and people are afraid of change. They tend to stay with what's familiar, even if it isn't safe for them.
Right.
But they need to learn that they can make better choices for themselves, for their children, because even if the children aren't directly involved in the abuse, they are around it, and they grow up thinking that it's the normal way to be in a relationship.
Yeah, and it's not normal. And you were very brave to stand up And I think you'd mentioned this happened like is it in the 60s or the 70s, I'm assuming?
In the 80s.
In the 80s,
In
okay.
the early to mid 80s.
Early 80s.
Yeah.
And it definitely,
And choosing.
yeah, you don't want your children to think it's normal for that kind of behavior.
No.
And so what do you think? I also read that getting men involved to help stop, you know, is that the right word, to help them to
Yes.
it's
Yes.
not normal. We need more men involved.
Because everyone calls this a woman's problem, but it really isn't. There would be no problem without the abusive men.
Correct.
And so I want non-abusive men. And there are a lot of them out there to get involved by when they see or hear of abuse, to reach out to these men and let them know that there are other ways to deal with their anger and frustration.
Right. You definitely want to, if you see something, you need to speak up. If you're not involved in it, if you see something, you need to speak up, and if you can, or at least I didn't experience what you had to deal with, but I experienced more of a emotional abuse, you know what I'm saying? Which,
That's just as bad.
right, and but not, I mean, I should say emotional, but downgrading. And I think it's because my stepfather at the time, he had PTSD. I'm not giving him an excuse, but he had PTSD from being a Vietnam vet. And they didn't talk about that back then.
Yeah, I get it. They're always slow on the uptake to help vets.
Yeah, it's amazing that you survived this long in this sport, but you have a lot of resilience, and you're a great example. And I think resilience is more about you get knocked down, but you pull yourself up through some strength, and you made that choice, right?
Thank you for bringing choice back into it.
Yeah, choice. It's a choice. You made the choice.
Because it was the choices that I made. When I was in the hospital after this final attack, I decided then that this could not have happened for no reason. I needed to use me as an example to help others so they didn't have to go through it.
And you also probably learned some red flags or takeaways. Is that something you have in your book as well?
Absolutely. I think it's the 13th chapter. I have a bullet list of the points that kind of reiterate what I've already said, but it puts them all in one place.
Right. It's definitely, and then I think as other women and other men, we can see that behavior. We cannot be afraid. Well, it's easier to say than do, but you're very, very, like I said, brave. And did you reach out? Who did you reach out to when you decided that you chose to stop it? Who did you reach out to?
I went to a shelter for battered women.
Oh, wow. And it's particular in the city that you're living in, obviously, right? Yeah.
No, it's in the greater Los Angeles area.
Okay. And that's probably more common than we realize, and people don't talk about it. I'm sure there's, you think there's dealing with even more, I shouldn't say victim, is that the right word? Should I use the word victim? Yeah.
They are victims.
Right.
And yes, when I started doing the speaking, I worked for a shelter and did community education, which included a lot of media
Okay.
Um, the statistic then was 1 out of 4 women was abused. The statistic now is 1 out of 3.
Oh, it's increased. Wow.
Yes, yes.
Do you think,
It is the only crime during the COVID lockdown that went way up instead of going down.
that's what I was
Like
going to
the
ask you
other.
about? I'm glad you brought the COVID. A lot of people dealt with more emotional issues. And so why do you think, because they were like stuck in a house with somebody? Maybe is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a tendency to feel trapped in that situation anyway. And COVID just made it exponentially worse.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even think about how COVID, it just changed everybody's life and good and bad. And
Right.
I'm very fortunate I haven't experienced the physical abuse ever. And I think that we do need more men to step up and be better role models. I'm very fortunate to have had my my mom's third husband. He was a protector, right? So I kind of grew up in that environment as a military
Keep
brat.
trying till you find the right one.
Right. Her third husband was the best. And he was a good protector. He was a good role model for all of the other men around him and the children. We need more men like that. And that's, I didn't appreciate it at the time because they got married. I was 17, right? So you're gonna, you know how it is. But I did really deep down. He was very kind, and we need more men like that. And I don't know, what do you recommend how men can get more involved in this to help reduce this, you know?
There are actually programs out there that are run by men or men who put a stop to domestic violence.
Okay.
And until the men do it, because essentially it's really their problem,
Right.
it's not going to end until the men decide to stop it.
Right. It's scary. And I know it's been around forever and ever, but like you said, it seems to have gotten worse. And I think being isolated during COVID didn't help families or marriages. And do you think the domestic violence on the women, do you think was it increasing for the kids too? On children too?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering about that. And it's
But a lot of times, the domestic violence is just the kids experiencing, watching their parents and their bad relationship.
right.
The emotional effect that it has on children is absolutely terrifying.
It is. And all this frustration is pent up and they're taking it out the wrong way. That the right,
Right.
yeah, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I just know from what I've experienced, it's best to not react. And I think that's what people are doing. They're reacting in an emotional situation. And I did hear some things from my mom. By the way, she became a psychologist and she did have to help a lot. She was involved with the government and the military, and there's a lot of abuse with everywhere, but especially military.
Yeah.
People don't realize
Yes.
that either. And that's
I'm
what
aware.
there's a lot of that for some reason, and I'm just shocked that we don't talk about it enough. We kind of hide it. We try to pretend everything is okay.
Yeah, people have a tendency to feel embarrassed
Yeah, it's a good point.
about it.
Yeah,
Because
it's
as
embarrassing.
women, we tend to personalize it and think, what did I do
Right. Right. What can I
And
do?
in the military and in police families, where the man is trained to deal with violence,
Yes.
it kind of desensitizes them.
Right. And that's why one of the reasons I never wanted to get married to somebody in the military is because I was a military brat. I saw some things from my mom's second husband, right? But it was
Yeah.
her third husband. He was unusual because he was trained to kill. He was so kind to the family, right? And so maybe I did notice one of the things he did a lot of exercise. Is that the right word? It probably took a
Sure, that's a good way to release tension.
yes. He was calm. He pretended to be calm, right? But I learned all kinds of stuff about him later, but I think you're right. They're trained to kill, and how do we help these people? I think that's why vets in the miller anybody, they need help the most. I mean, everybody's got issues, but we have to be good role models, and I think you're a good role model by bringing up the topic, and you help develop curriculum, the LA Police Department based on your perspective, and they need to know the perspective of a woman, right? Of what happened.
Right.
It's so cool. I should say cool, but in retrospect, it is kind of cool what you did because you weren't embarrassed. You had to bring it up. You knew it was the right thing to do. And that's another thing. Life is a matter of
It was
choices.
just
And
another choice.
right, you should choose to do the right thing, right? Not just about power. I think that's another issue. People have issues of it depends on how they're brought up too, like a lot of power issues, right? It's about power. And it's really good that you're sharing your story. So where can people I found your website. It's called caconnell.com. Or I'm sorry, kaconnell.com. I apologize.
Author.com.
Okay, and I will have that in the summary link. And then also your book is on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. I love that it's called Beyond Surviving, Take Back Your Life, Using the Power of Choice, because we do need to talk about this more. We do have a choice in life, and you need to choose to do the right thing. And you did choose to do the right thing, and you saved your life. And you're still here to talk about it.
Thank you. I am. And for men, all they have to do is Google men against domestic violence.
Okay, that's a good point.
And those organizations will pop up.
That's good. And we're just going to get this message out there more just because, especially post-COVID, like you said, the domestic violence has increased and we need to make sure everybody's safe. And
it's the only reason I wrote the book.
That's right.
I mean, I talked about it for years back in the 80s. And I'm retired. And when I saw that COVID rate increase, I thought, okay, I've got a little more experience under my belt.
Right.
Maybe this is the time to write the book that people encouraged me to do 40 years ago.
I'm glad you made the right choice, right?
Yeah.
And you have something to give away to people. And she's like, but just to share, I'm one of those people that I love books. So that is something definitely I'm going to get for myself. And I want people to be.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate your time, Karen.
I appreciate you having me on, Bridget.
All right.
Have a great meeting you.
Have a great day, everybody.